The second fighter pass is underway, ladies and gentlemen. Now that Min Min's claimed the first slot, we're left with a question. Who else might make the cut? I'd personally like to see more villains like Hades and Eggman, but I have a few contenders in mind that are more grounded if you'd care to hear them. My personal predictions are based largely on marketing and business relationships rather than fan demand, but it's purely speculation all the same. It's also worth noting that they're in no specific order. Now let's not waste another second and dive right into it. I've been harping on this one for a while, but I think Metroid Prime 4's impending release would pair well with having this long-teased adversary inducted into the Ultimate Ensemble. Unless they're taking the new game in a different direction following its overhaul, it's likely that Silex is going to play a meaningful role, and with the ravenous fanfare behind Metroid Prime, it'd be a wise move to further expand its influence to Smash Bros. Players who might not already have it on their radars. I know Smash Bros. Was the reason I picked up Metroid Prime back in the day, so I'd bet a direct character tie-in would help point people towards the next installment. I think there's some cool stuff you can do with Silex too, and if you've got a minute after this video, you can review my overview. If this ominous hunter makes it in thanks to his marketability and tactical nuance, I certainly wouldn't be shocked. If the DLC for Smash Ultimate concludes without any Ubisoft representation on the roster, I'll be pretty surprised. That behemoth of a studio has seen a few of its series already represented with spirits and costumes, but I think the relationship between Nintendo and Ubisoft points to a collaboration in the cards. Aside from a history of releasing titles on Nintendo platforms, recent games like Mario plus Rabbids and Starlink with its Star Fox content shows a direct working relationship between the two parties, so it'd be unusual if Ubisoft wasn't keen to see one of their characters highlighted more prominently in the biggest crossover in the industry's history. Ubisoft has a lot of franchises under its belt, but Rayman is the most fitting and unique option on the table with his brand recognition, helicopter hair, and floating fists. As a classic mascot and an enduring presence in platformers today, Rayman's inclusion would truly be the stuff of legends. Level 5 is a Japanese studio that I think needs some representation in Super Smash Bros., and although Yokai Watch has experienced dwindling popularity in recent years, I could see Nintendo and the studio brokering a deal to help boost its image again. Nintendo publishing the franchise in North America is already a clear indication that they recognize value in the brand too. As for the character selection itself, Jibanyan is effectively the Pikachu of Yokai Watch, and we haven't seen many small, lightweight fighters in quite some time. There's certainly a case to be made for Professor Layton being a stronger level 5 rep to bring into the fold, but up against this spirited feline, I don't think he stands a ghost of a chance. Generally speaking, I think one of the slots will be a Pokemon from Galar. Byleth set a strong precedent for predictable first-party picks, and it seems like the appropriate time to pick a critter from Sword and Shield to further promote the region while it's still in the limelight. Game Freak could very well nominate a starter like Rillaboom or even the Isle of Armor's legendary mascot, but I'd like to think Toxtricity has a decent shot for having a notable presence in the region and boasting a pretty striking silhouette. If the team tried to predict a popular choice in advance like how they settled on Greninja, I could see Toxtricity being a sensible option too. I'd personally be fine with just about anything they throw at us from the 8th generation, but if Toxtricity was to be announced, I'd certainly make some noise. Now, before we name off the last fighter, let's take a quick look at some honorable mentions. I think Matthew has a better shot than ever coming off the ARMS announcement. As Golden Sun's protagonist for Dark Dawn and beyond, adding that chap could help reinvigorate the franchise if Nintendo and Camelot are keen on revisiting it anytime soon. It wouldn't have the same immediate benefit as Min Min for ARMS since Matthew's latest game is a few consoles behind, but if they went into planning a new game early in anticipation of an ultimate boost, this would be a golden opportunity for a revival. I think SHANTAE deserves a nod too, although her case isn't particularly strong. She has a long-standing history on Nintendo platforms, established herself as an early indie mascot, and already set precedent for collaborations with the Smash team working with WayForward to get spirits into the base game. It'd certainly feel more like Nintendo giving her studio a promotional push rather than a mutually beneficial arrangement given their size and relative budget, but seeing an indie character like SHANTAE join the battle would be nothing short of magical. I'd also like to give some attention to Square Enix's other big-name superstar, GENO. But I think with how stingy Square Enix seems to be based on Final Fantasy music and even Cloud's localization in the last 2 installments, they're probably only keen to contribute their properties if there's a strong financial incentive behind it. Despite fan demand, I doubt it'd be worth the price for Nintendo to cut this puppet's strings. But that's enough doom and gloom. Let's get to the finale. Surprised? There's plenty of fighters I'd love to see featured in Ultimate, but after Ridley, King K. Rool, and Banjo and Kazooie were introduced to the game, Crash Bandicoot is all I need to elevate the roster to perfection. You could honestly cut off newcomers a few DLC packs early with his inclusion, and I'd still be satisfied with the final tally. I couldn't imagine Activision passing up an opportunity to capitalize on the orange marsupial's recent surge in popularity, especially with an original title on the horizon. And with Smash Bros. Being a celebration of iconic characters throughout the industry's history, this 90s icon with contemporary relevance would be an excellent pick. I put together a quick overview on what I think he'd bring to the table if you want to check that out, but regardless of how he'd be represented, I think his inclusion would really get the fans spinning. That's the roundup, folks. A mighty compelling cast of characters if you ask me, but what do you think? Are there any that seem a bit unfounded? Is someone missing that you think should have been covered? Let me know down in the comments below and let's discuss them. There might be one or two picks you'd swap out, but I'm willing to wager you wouldn't pass on all these fighters. Hey there, pal. Thanks for watching. This video will surely age like a refreshing glass of milk, but whether you're watching it before the announcements were locked in or in retrospect to judge my assessment, I hope you enjoyed the show. Be sure to like and subscribe if you did. I'd certainly appreciate it, and it shows me you like this kind of content.